Okay, guys. So yesterday I got a tip from Michelle, shout out to AT Alien, a blogger out of Atlanta, that Porsha Williams won in divorce court. A judge ruled to enforce her prenup with her ex, Simon Wobadia. Yes. Now, that is a huge deal because they've been going back and forth over several things, including the home that she currently lives in, the car, the Rolls Royce. So I reached out to another source close to the court to figure out, okay, if she won and the judge is going to enforce the prenup, what does that mean and what does she get? So I'm told that Porsha will get alimony, which will be $40K per month for about 14 to 15 months. All her legal fees will be paid. She'll receive the Rolls Royce that he brought. All her attorney fees will be covered. I said that already. And the home, right? The house has been in question. Now, there's a little bit of the clauses with the home. So there's one or two things that can happen. So Porsha has from 2024, which is when they ended, to 2027 to decide whether she's going to stay in the home. And it's a $7 million home. And in order to stay in the home, she's going to have to refinance to basically buy Simon out of his portion because he does get 50% of the equity in the home. Or she can sell the home. Now, the issue with the home and why it's been such a big conversation, from what I'm told, is that it was a premarital property. So he actually bought the home with his own money, Simon, for what I'm told, before they entered into the marriage. But at this point, she has these 3 years to figure out what she wants to do and stay in the home while she figures it out. And while she's in the home, he also, Simon is responsible to cover all of the expenses. So mortgage, any expenses that come.
Is the house paid off? Is it paid in full or no?
No,
it's a mortgage.
It's not paid in full. So he has to cover all of the expenses while she is there. And I'm also told that Simon is exploring the options of an appeal. He has 30 days to file this with the court.
Now, Simon does none of that. What could happen to him? Because he can't come back to the country. It's not like they can bring him back and arrest him, right?
What do you mean by does none of that?
So if he says, you know what, I'm already, you already deported me. I'm in Africa or I'm in Dubai. I ain't gonna do nothing of that because you can't arrest him.
Oh, you mean like he's not going to appeal for the home?
No, meaning if he doesn't pay the mortgage, if he doesn't want to give none of that stuff that he's supposed to be paying, he just says, you know what, I'm out.
I mean, he still legally would have to go through whatever the consequences for that is. And also, too, he still has his defamation lawsuit on the other side with Porsha. So he's still, I mean, he ain't hiding. Like, he's still actively going through things and he plans to appeal. So he ain't about to hide. So he'll just have to deal with the consequences.
All I know is Simon would give all that up to have American citizenship and that ice cream sandwich we call Capital P back. Okay, salute to Porsha Williams, a.k.a. Young Honey Bun. That's what we call him.
Baby,
all right?
Capital P cleaned up, okay?
Mr. Wobadia probably bit off more than he could chew and was probably like, thank
that's
you,
a
God.
big bite.
I am going home.
P?
Yes, I am going back home.
Yes.
Time for this.
I'm going back home.
Yes.
And I'm told, because I asked them, like, what was their vibe in court? I'm told they didn't even speak to each other directly. They just let their counsel speak through each other, and they could have if they wanted to. And they were in court all day, 9:30.
Were they on Zoom or something?
They were on Zoom, yes. They were on Zoom, but they could have done a breakout room on Zoom if they wanted to have a conversation. They didn't, though. 9:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. and Simon walked away pissed.
Damn.
Sure.
Well, what time was it in Africa?
I don't know. It was time for him to get ready to pay that $40K a month. That's what time it was.
Damn.
So in other news, speaking of Jeesh, Dame Dash, a judge has ordered Dame Dash to hand over full ownership of several of his companies and film copyrights to pay off a debt from a lawsuit.
No.
Damn, yo.
Yes. So shout out to allhiphop.com and Grouchy Greg who broke this story. So y'all remember we were talking about like the money that Dame Dash owed. There was a ton of different things.
Yes.
Child support. There was like a lawsuit between him and a filmmaker named Josh Weber. So the taxes and all that stuff, remember they did the auction and they were trying to figure out how they want to pay each other. So a part of that was this filmmaker's lawsuit, and the auction went down. Dame Dash lost his 1/3 stake in Rockefeller, but this filmmaker was not paid. There wasn't enough money to cover the debt that Dame Dash allegedly owes to him, right? So there's a little over $800,000 that is due, and a judge is basically saying that Dame has to give up several companies, including Dash Films, and copyrights to several movies, including Honor Up and Too Honorable, in order to get this paid.
What about the network, the American New Network?
That is not listed on here. It is Dash Films, Blue Rock LLC, Black Rock LLC, Interest in Lebanon LLC, Oceans East Improvements LLC, and 1996 Songs. So unless that network is under one of these companies, but that wasn't specifically named in the document.
What was that $8 million number I saw floating around? It was saying
800,000.
Oh, I saw that too, but I thought I saw something else.
But that's from, remember there was a huge amount of money he owed because of child support because of this lawsuit. Like there
And taxes too, right?
Yes, that was all combined. Remember,
Gotcha.
but they tried to sell it off in the auction, but it was like first come first, not first come first. So they had to figure out the picking order of who was going to be paid what. This filmmaker was not paid from that because there wasn't enough money to go around. So now they're asking for these companies, they're asking for the rights to these movies, and what they're going to do, the government is going to do is they're going to do another auction, and they're trying to pay this man from this film with this auction, and whatever's left over will go back to Dame Dash. Now Dame Dash has until June 16th to make the auction not happen by filing an objection.
Monday.
Yeah, I seen
June 16th. You got until Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, I seen everybody laughing, and I would say this: you don't laugh.
Don't
you
laugh, learn.
Don't laugh, you learn. Right. And I told you guys years ago, Charlamagne and myself said a long time ago, entrepreneurship is amazing, right?
But it's hard.
But having a job is not a bad thing. Stability ain't a weakness. It could be a strategy. So don't think if you have a job, you can't be an entrepreneur as well. You can do both. Like I said, stability is not a weakness. It's a strategy to do the things that you want to do. And don't laugh at Dame Dash. You can learn from it.
And I will say salute to everybody who was motivated by the interview Dame Dash did up here on the Breakfast Club 10 years ago. But you know, when you talk about being your own boss, when you talk about ownership, all those conversations are great. But Dame never really gave a blueprint to do it, you know? And I wonder, for those who were inspired by that convo 10 years ago, how do you feel now seeing the situation Dame is in? Or do you just take the message and not listen to the messenger? Because I think over the last decade, there has been a lot of people who have told you how to do it,
Correct.
as opposed to just telling you to do it. It's one thing to say, be your own boss. Quit your job. You don't need to work for nobody. You know, your boss is your daddy. My son sells cookies. All of that is cool. But, you know, you still had to give, like, a blueprint on how to do that. And I think over the last decade, we've seen these conversations of financial literacy grow in our communities, and people have given you some blueprints.
Great conversations, but like you said, it's if you don't know how, just you have to learn, and sometimes being stable, it's not a weakness, right? Getting your monthly check and having health insurance is not a weakness. It should be a strategy to get to where you need to be.
Or listen to people who actually have successful businesses.
Correct.
Like, you know, we have a genre of people who are making money, telling people how to make money.
But the thing
that can't be the business.
But the thing is, you got to know who's really doing it, right? Because we all thought Dame was really doing it.
That's
right?
why I love John Hope Bryant.
You see John Hope Bryant,
That's
and then you see things like when I seen TDE the other day, and he was talking about, you know what, I jumped on a Spirit flight from LA to Vegas to get to the show.
Right.
It only cost me $99. If I'd have flew private, it would have been $12,000. He got it, but he's smart with it.
Hey, John Hope Bryant, Don Peebles, Cheryl McKissick, Tyler Perry. I'm listening to people who actually have businesses. You know what I'm saying? Who can tell me how to build that.
Hove.
Yes, I don't like. I tried. I didn't want to say Tyler or Hove just because they're the entertainers. That's why I said Cheryl, Don, and.
But a lot of them came from
John O'Brien.
Like we seen Hove where he came from and what he's done. So Tyler Perry the same.
And I felt like that just a stab saying Hove right now at a time like that.
Oh,
damn! I didn't even think about it like that.
I think.
Say it again, Jess.
No, I didn't.
Damn.
No, I didn't. All right.
Did they say anything about the cookies?
Yo, shut up, man. That is the latest with Loren.
Seriously.
That is the latest with Loren. All right, when we come back, we got the People's Choice Mix. Don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
You're checking out the Breakfast Club. Wake that ass up
early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.